Roll. Councilman Fan West.
Fan West, no.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen.
No.
And Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion failed.
All right, thank you. We now come to special presentation, a certificate of recognition to Westminster Police Department officers for earning an award for Mothers Against Drunk Driving, abbreviation as MADD, M-A-D-D. I'm more than happy to present these, and I will ask Council to join me at the podium after this. A certificate of recognition to Westminster Police Department officers for earning an award for Mothers Against Drunk Driving, M-A-D-D, MADD. Mothers Against Drunk Driving honors the law enforcement personnel for their continuous effort in DUI enforcement, as each DUI arrest is potentially a life save. To honor and thank these officers, MADD awards a certificate along with their prestigious 23-152 pin to the officers who make over 25 DUI arrests annually. The California Vehicle Code section for driving under the influence is 23-152, and the pin is red in color. The officers who earn and wear the pin symbolize MADD's mission and end drunk and truck driving. On behalf of the entire City Council, I want to recognize the following officers for achieving this honor: Officer Savage, Officer Visley, Officer Cruz, and Officer Bruzzi. So, Council, can you join me at the podium? And I would like to invite the four officers just mentioned, please come up for the recognition. Congratulations. Congratulations. First is a certificate of recognition presented to Officer Christopher Savage and Westminster Police Department in recognition of your effort to keep our streets safer by making 27 DUI arrests in 2023 and earning an award from the Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And this presentation, this certificate presented to you, signed by the Mayor, Chi Nguyen, and Vice Mayor Kimberly Ho, District 3, Amy Fan West, Council Member, District 1, Carlos Menzo, Council Member, District 2, and Nam Quan Nguyen, Council Member, District 4. So, congratulations. Next certificate of recognition presented to Officer Brandon Cruz, Westminster Police Department, in recognition of your effort to keep our streets safer by making 38 DUI arrests in 2023, and earning an award from Mothers Against Drunk Driving, again signed by me and also the City Council. Next, the certificate of recognition presented to Officer Evan Bruzzi and Westminster Police Department in recognition of your effort to keep our streets safer by making 32 DUI arrests in 2023 and earning an award from Mothers Against Drunk Driving, again signed by me and also by City Council. Congratulations. Thank you. Yes, sir. Last but not least, Officer Willie Visley and Westminster Police Department, this certificate recognition to him in recognition of your efforts to keep our streets safer by making 42 DUI arrests in 2023 and earning an award for Mothers Against Drunk Driving, again signed by me and also City Council. congratulations. And thank you for your service. So I guess that, any of you want to say anything? All right.
Well, I hope you all know how many lives you saved. You saved my family's lives because all the, the people that you arrested for you do DUI, had you not arrested them, who they could have killed. So it could have been one of my family members, could have been one of our constituents, our, people from the community. And so I really appreciate your efforts, your bravery, and, you look out for the city and for everybody in the community. Thank you so much for everything you've done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the whole community, we thank you for all you've done and your service to our community. Thank you, and we're really proud of you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Westminster PD. You guys are the finest, and thank you for all you do, protecting our city, keeping us safe, and please continue to be brave and be safe out there. God bless you guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you. It's time for photo op. So if you don't mind, can I stand in the middle? All right, congratulations to you, and congratulations to you, Chief. Thank you. Thank you, Chief, for your leadership, for the great recognition here. So why don't we put together our hands to thanks Chief for his leadership, though. All right, next is on our schedule here.
Mayor, if I may, I
Yes,
forgot
please.
a request that we had on staff under city manager report. Tonight's agenda, as you know, we have a lot of city business, and we do have some of our staff members here tonight ready to present on some items. So I was wondering if we would be, if the council wouldn't mind if we moved item number 6 and 7.1 through 7.4. So basically our legislative and commission committee items to be heard after the consent calendar, but before regular business.
Did you say item number 6 point what?
It would be 6.1, which is our
6.1.
legislative item, as well as 7.1 through 7.4.
Move to approve.
A second.
Is there a way that you can modify a little bit and move maybe the 5.9 and 5.10 ahead as well?
5.9
Yeah,
and 5 point what?
5.10 and 5.9.
No.
I'd rather take care of the business so that staff can get it done, and then they can get back and prepare for tomorrow, because they have to work tomorrow. So hopefully that we can, if you don't mind, that we can go ahead and move those 2 items after the item 6.1.
Yeah,
and
that would be
7.1 to
perfect.
7.4.
5.9,
Okay.
5.10 and 5.9 after that. That'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is that okay? I move to approve with that, and if
I
there's-
second it.
What are we doing?
I second it.
Okay, let me repeat. City managers recommend that to move item 6.1 and from 7.1 to 7.4 ahead of all the items. Okay, so that we can, but then Councilmember West was thinking that, trying to move in front of that, but I make a motion to move those 2 items, which is 5.9 and 5.10, right?
Yeah.
5.9, 5.10, right after 6.1 and 7.1 to 7.4.
And those would be after
5.10.
consent.
Yeah.
And after consent calendar.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, 5.10 and 5.9 after, right?
5.9 and 5.10.
Yes, I second that.
We already have a motion in a second.
Well, we just modify it. We just modify it.
Well, when I modified, let me ask the second, will you agree with the modification?
Yes, I agree.
No.
Oh.
He's, who seconded it, please? You seconded? No.
Which one?
The first, when I make a motion, who seconded?
I did.
You did. So at this point here, the motion has been modified to include the 5.9 and 5.10 right after 6.1 and 7.1 to 7.4.
That's fine.
Okay, all right, thank you. So motion by Mayor and seconded by Vice Mayor Ho.
Thank you, Mayor. So I have a motion made by Mayor Nguyen, seconded by Vice Mayor Ho. This is to change the order of the agenda to hear item 6.1, 7.1, 7.2, 7.3 to be heard after the consent calendar before regular business, and hear 5.9 and 5.10 immediately after 7.3. I'll go ahead and call roll. Councilwoman Fan West,
Fan West, yes?
Councilmember Monzo,
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho,
Yes.
Mayor Nguyen.
Yes,
Motion carried 5-0.
thank you very much. At this time, I would like to open for oral communication for agenda items only. Please address the council with the items on the agenda today. If there is none, if something that you want to address to us, but it's not on the agenda, please wait until the oral communication for non-agenda items. So City Clerk, would you please read the instruction into record, please?
Thank you, Mayor. This is the time of the meeting that members of the public may address the City Council regarding any items on the agenda. Unless otherwise extended by a majority vote of the City Council, comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Any person wishing to address the City Council in person should complete a green speaker slip that is provided at the entrance to the council chambers and submit the card to the city clerk. When your name is called, please step to the podium at that time and state your name and city of residence for the record. Our first speaker.
Before yes, I just wanted to mention that there's a resolution number 4963, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Westminster establishing rules of decorum and civility at the city council meeting. So I would like to ask you if you treat everyone courteously and also be open-minded and consider all viewpoints and all members of the public to speak without intimidation and interruption. Otherwise, I have to stop you, and I don't want to do that. Please help me to run an effective meeting. Thank you. Now we can open for the first speaker.
Our first speaker is Nguyen Hung, followed by Mark Nguyen. Nguyen?
I have my interpreter, I don't know, he disappeared. So may I ask your permission, and I can read both, but he on the way now. My interpreter, I read the Vietnamese first and then English later.
Whichever one you prefer.
Okay, by Vietnamese first. Thank you.
Where's his interpreter? He doesn't have one.
Did you ask one?
Stop the time for a second, yeah.
You want to
he's asking
receive
for doubling his
English,
time.
right? Everybody receive English.
No, if you don't have the interpreter,
Yeah, but-
then you are by yourself.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm speaking on item 5.9 and 5.10. Ladies and gentlemen, item number 5.9, I would like to reiterate that the function of the council member is to serve the community. We elect you to represent us in doing good things for the city. In the past, you have wasted a lot of my tax money and even your precious time for the censure issue. Because the limit of a time, I only suggest to skip the decision on censure Councilwoman Amy Van West. I think we should not take advantage of this democratic forum to create a state for condemn each other. In the past, you disciplined Mayor Chita and Vice Mayor Charlie Nguyen, but later withdrew this decision. So therefore, instead of being tense or confronting each other, you should treat each other more gently and maintain harmony among the members of the council so the residents do not see the noisy in the city council as like a flea market. I think we just need to issue a recommendation with the apology of the Councilwoman Amy Van West to be more careful in the future. Something Councilwoman Amy Van West were willing to apologize for last time. And I agree with the proposal from the Councilman Nam Nguyen Queen last time. He made a previous meeting. Councilwoman Amy Van West apologized and speak sympathetically to her colleagues who have had conflict in the past. At the same time, we review the accusation to the change attitude for the better. Like every American citizen, Councilwoman Amy Van West has the right to freedom of speech and expression. If you convict Councilwoman Amy Van West, except for the Councilman Carlo Manzo, I think all four of you should be censored too, based on my document. Remember that we should live in United States. We not live in Vietnam.
Yep.
You again communist, how come you do like the communist? I have a item number
Your time is up.
510, but
Thank you.
okay.
Our next speaker is Mark Nguyen, followed by Robert Furman.
Good evening, Mayor Nguyen, Council Member, City
Rồi nhà
staff.
báo Nguyễn Quốc Hùng nói
and fellow
về
citizens.
vấn đề là nên bỏ cái
My
việc
name is
là
Mark Nguyen.
mà em
I am
nhận
the
phép
Board
thì phí
President
thời
of
gian và
Midway
phí
City
tiền
Sanitary
phép
District.
người dân.
I am here to speak on the district behalf regarding item 5.6, which is about the city consideration in sponsoring the
Đây
district
là ông Mark
85th
Nguyễn,
anniversary
viên
celebration.
của thành phố, mấy nghị viên thành phố.
Westminster and the district have always had a extraordinary relationship, working together to serve our community. Please consider partnering with us for this community event celebrating the district major milestone. Now, it has come to my attention that there's a rumor that the city has millions in the coffer. So I'm here to ask only for 1 million, but I'm sure we can come to somewhere in the middle. All kidding aside, on behalf of the board of directors and the district, I want to personally invite the mayor, all council members, and your families, city staff, and all residents of Westminster and Midway cities to this 85th anniversary celebration on September 14 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's a free community event. There will be live music and kids' activities. We will serve food, refreshments, snacks, and give out gifts. Invites are already going to be sent out in the mail, so look for it in your mailbox. I thank you for your time and consideration. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Robert Furman, followed by Michael Varengia.
Good evening. My name is Robert Furman. I live in Westminster in the 1st District. I want to express my strong objection to the council's efforts to censure Councilwoman Amy Van West. This action represents a significant waste of taxpayer dollars and a misuse of the city council's time. I'm aware of the allegations against her, and I find some of the allegations a little hypocritical. I've sat in this gallery in the past, and I've seen a member or two interrupt constituents and argue with them, and I don't think that's appropriate. Months ago, the job of the council person is to listen, ask questions, make a decision, and then vote. That's all we expect from you. Not to argue, but most people don't really care about your petty squabbles between you. They're turned off by local politics. If they did care, I think you'd have a full gallery here, the way it should be. Councilwoman West was elected by the voters of the 1st District to represent their interests and concerns. Attempting to silence a dissenting voice through censure undermines the democratic process, and it disrespects the will of the voters who put her in office. If there is an overwhelming pressure from District 1 constituents to silence her, then I suggest you show us the evidence. Absent that, this is nothing more than a personal vendetta. The law may allow you to censure fellow officials, but it's not always the right thing to do. It is the voters' prerogative, not the council's, to address and respond to the perceived issues with their elected representatives. The council should prioritize its efforts on matters that directly impact the well-being and economic prosperity of our community, not petty disagreements. Instead of engaging in petty efforts to censure one another, which displays weakness in leadership, in my opinion, your focus should be on discussing and implementing policies and increase revenues and incentives for business growth in the city. These are issues that will enhance our city's future, provide opportunities for our residents, and ensure a thriving local economy. I urge the council to redirect its attention to these critical areas and to respect the electoral process by allowing Councilwoman West to serve her constituents without undue interference. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Michael Varengia, followed by Devora Mariscal.
Thank you. Item 5.10, this has nothing to do with city business. Mayor, what I suggest you do is make a motion, get a second, and vote to take no action on that. It has no business on the agenda. This is nothing more than a personal grief. 5.7, make sure you appoint people to go to that trip, somebody that will actually pay attention. We've seen pictures of one of our esteemed council members sitting there on her phone with her feet up on a chair, not bothering to pay attention what the training was. 7.4, RV parking. You need to recuse yourself. You and hubby run an RV rental business in this city. You can't even be in these chambers during the discussion of this. You need to recuse yourself. And also limit it to the 12 permits that the police department recommended, not 36. We don't need 36 permits out there. 5.9, this is a censure. It's not eliminating somebody's First Amendment rights. I keep hearing people come up here and complain they don't want the council members censored. It's censure. Basically, it's a scolding. That's all it is. Nobody's going to lose their job. Nobody's going to be limiting their First Amendment rights. They're still going to be able to represent their district. And as a Christian, you should know that we're taught that our actions have results. When you do things and you violate an ethics code, there's going to be consequences. So if you want to be a good Christian, remember, there's consequences for your actions, all of our actions. That includes me, and I shouldn't be the one that scold anybody for that. Let me see. I think I hit them all, but especially 5.10. That has no business on here. Make a motion, get a second, and eliminate this thing off the agenda. There shouldn't even be on here discussing this. And also, Chief, congratulations to you and your officers for the DUI arrest. I always wanted one of those. I could never do the FST myself. All right, thank you very much, folks.
Our next speaker is Devar Mariscal, followed by Tammy Hamill.
Who's already here. Good evening, council. Would like to say congratulations to our police officers, having done a couple of ride-alongs and done some sobriety checks. Good job. 3.10, yes, agenda and non-agenda items need to go back to the beginning. People can't stay here until midnight. There's no reason that it should have been done. Let's move on to 5.7. Traveling for the council members. Sometimes I have to go to Sacramento to lobby. I pay my own way. Maybe one of the council members could go, but we still are in financial crisis. I think it would be great for the mayor to go if he wants to, maybe one other person. But we need to not be spending money that's not really going to do anything. I agree with Michael. We're not taking away Miss West's right to speak. When our daughter was little, we had certain words that were not allowed in our house, not just the swear words, but other words as well. I could not censor her. I could not make her not say them. But if she did, she got censured and she got consequences. Same thing here. 5.10. What are you thinking? This is a civil matter that has nothing to do with the city. This is ridiculous. Take it off. 7.3, yes, there does need to be parking restrictions by the driveway at Liberty Park. I live over there. I walk by there. It is difficult for our maintenance people to get in there sometimes. I totally agree with that. Parking is a commodity here. It is prime real estate. We do not need 36 permits for RVs. If you own an RV or an RV business, store your RV so you can bring it to your house 3 or 4 times so you can load up your stuff and bring it back and unload it. But I go with the police department. 12 should be absolutely the max. Thank you.
Tammy Hamill, followed by Jody Boyd.
Good evening, Tammy Hamill, District 1 resident, Westminster. There's quite a few I want to comment on. 5.7, I do not think that she needs to go anywhere. She keeps proving that anything she does is self-serving. She does not have the best interests of the city at heart. Also for 7.4, recuse herself because whether she says she does or not, there's proof that she has RVs in the city. 5.9, again, I agree with everyone else that talked about it, that it is not censoring her, it is censuring. Her actions continue to prove she doesn't know how to control herself. She lashes out at people. 5.10 is a prime example of her bad behavior. She immediately went out and started defaming and accusing a fellow council member that had nothing to do with her, and now she's putting it on the agenda to continue that attack. That's what she does. If people who are here commenting in favor of her actually understood that, watched the meetings, looked at her social media, they would understand that. It's not about her disagreeing or going to the bathroom. It's about her being late, leaving her seat for 40, 45 minutes at a time. It's her attacking council members. It's her attacking residents, calling names, using defamatory language. That's what she's about. Her husband gave a prime example when he went on media and said she thinks this seat is chump change. She does not care to be here. She's only doing this to promote herself to higher office, which hopefully she will never get, because who knows how much more wasteful she can be the higher she gets. I urge you to go through with the censure. I really hope you do. A lot of the things that I saw of people writing in, they do not live in Westminster. They clearly have no idea what's going on because all they talk about is her being silenced. She's clearly not silenced. If they watch the meetings, they will see she interrupts, she badgers people, she will not stop talking. Even when she's muted, she just stops talking, she starts talking louder. If they actually paid attention, they wouldn't be up here praising her of her actions, because they clearly do not understand what she does and what she's really about. And I believe 5.10 also, I believe, does not belong on here. It's just her way of personally attacking Kimberly, and with his censure thing and her censure thing, they're going to just continue wasting more time with all this censure because she's a baby. He's going along with it because she cannot control herself. We're going to just please continue with the censure. And yeah, 5.10 does not even need to be on here. With it. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jody Boyd, followed by John Ingrasani.
Good evening. I'm Jody Boyd. I have lived in Westminster since 2009, more years than I can count, more years than I have ever lived any one place in my entire life. Most of you know that I was traveling for 2 years, happily living the life, traveling in an RV, when I got cancer. I had to make a choice. I could have received treatment anywhere. I chose to return to Southern California for treatments and to live in Westminster again. And I've been a resident of District 1 the entire time, where I'm very proud to live. There are many things on the agenda that I could talk about tonight. Of course, I am dearly concerned about our city's finances and the complete lack of progress by our city government to solve this issue. Yet another year, we have taken money from reserve, not borrowing it because there's no plan to pay it back. We need to solve this problem. The citizens, you're already balancing the budget to keep the lights on our backs. I'm a senior citizen, a retiree on a fixed income. You know what? The higher sales tax hurts me when I go to the grocery store. A lot of my weekly items are indeed taxable items. That sales tax comes out of my food budget. Yet, we can't talk about innovative ideas like plant-based medicine, which throughout history, and I'm a history major, has existed. In fact, modern pharmacology is based on plant-based medicine. My chemotherapy medication was derived from the bark of the Pacific yew tree, plant-based, until it was synthesized into a very modern, aggressive chemotherapy treatment. It really boils down to math. So let's get deep in the weeds. Basic math. Addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. You know, we can solve our financial problems with basic math. And with basic math, I would like to touch on another issue. I live in District 1. Amy, we've talked, we've prayed together. We have a lot in common. I have intentionally stayed above and out of the fray, although it's pained me. Thank you.
Our next speaker is John Ingrasani, followed by Roland Geyer.
Hello, my name is John Ingrasani. I'm a 33-year resident of Westminster in District 1. Councilman Amy Fan is my council representative. From the moment Councilman West was inaugurated to the council, she's been the subject of relentless attacks from external interest groups, many originating from this very podium. Section 509, subsection 2AA labels terms weak and despicable as grounds for breaching the conduct of members. Yet nearly every council meeting, the language permitted to address Councilwoman West is not only despicable, but often includes personal attacks on her intelligence, attire, And her accent also as a native-born Vietnamese. Myself as an Italian-born immigrant who's faced a similar ridicule, I'm appalled that her colleagues on the dais remain silent while these attacks continue. While it's appalling that we have a council member show up late to Little League games, lie about hot dog menus, and also display her OCD in rearranging seats at public events, in my opinion, it's far more appalling that the council puts the city at risk for a potential libel lawsuit arising from several of the complaints in 509. For example, the most egregious is 509 2A subsection 2 part C. The psychoanalysis of Councilperson West is written in a manner to deceive the public in believing a licensed professional has evaluated her, when in fact, the accusation is purely conjecture in nature. There's also potential risk with 509 section 2R. The council's accusation of Councilman West filing a false police report implies that she's violated the law. When in fact, according to the voice of OOC, quote, police investigation found Manzo committed no crime at this time, end quote. Filing a false police report is a crime in California that can result in a 6-month jail sentence and subject to a $1,000 fine. Well, $1,000 chump change compared to the money the council put the city at risk because of such slanderous attacks. I won't even go into the potential financial harm to the city should Councilwoman West press criminal charges of potential civil rights violations. Our city is in constant battle to avoid bankruptcy. Your primary solution is to hold residents hostage and force tax increases in exchange for our release. We begrudgingly paid the ransom by voting higher taxes. However, we didn't sign up to fund your never-ending internal battles. Now, of course, thank you.
Our next speaker is Ronald Geyer, followed by Gigi Vo.
For a minute there, I thought I had a new name. That's because I can't write. Okay, so she read what I wrote. Nice to be here again, and it's always very interesting. I'm here about her, and about my initial feelings about the first couple of times that I was here, watching what was going on. And the reason I was doing that was because when there was a problem on a city council meeting in other areas, I made note of that. And there was a difficult thing for one woman on another city councilman where a guy was really hounding her. And to the point where I was so afraid that she was going to have a heart attack. I mean, these are serious things that were going on. It was Irvine, so I don't think I have to go into a lot of detail on that kind of thing. But I stayed down there for every city council meeting, just about, for 2 years. I live in Chino Hills. So I made sure that I was there for her. And all that meant was when she was really being nailed and all of this guy sitting right next to her, all I did was smile. And I did that for 2 years. And they got the job done, but it got her through the hard times when she had to go through hard times. So when I first came here to the first meeting that I came to because of what we were dealing with in Los Angeles, the fighting that was going on and the blistering that was going on, and don't you do this, and shut up, and all of this was completely the opposite of what I expected, but I've been there before. And that's exactly what I saw when I first came here. You've had wonderful expressions here from people. They really feel what they've been saying. They have their reasons, but there's some really qualified people that have given you ways out of this without having to do anything else. And that is just to open your hearts and be there. It's worth it. For me, it was worth 2 years of coming to a city council meeting to make a difference in someone's life or something that was needed. Okay, so my heart's here. I go to every city council meeting where I live, and I've been made known, awarded for that and things like that, but that's not why I do it. I love being here. I'm 82 years old. I'm having a blast, okay? And she works her tail off doing new things. She's like JFK was when he first became president.
Thank you.
And I shook hands with him the day he accepted his party's nomination in the Coliseum. So I know what I'm talking about. I was just fresh out of high school. I want to thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening to the voices. Thank you very much for your good hearts. Well done.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Gigi Vo, followed by Hue Donato.
Thưa Hội đồng thành phố, tôi tên là GV. Tôi là người đã từng đi vận động tranh cử cho bà nghị viên Amy và đã theo dõi sát những hoạt động của bà kể từ khi bà đắc cử. Tôi có ý kiến về nghị trình 5.9 như sau. Tôi có thể nói Amy là một kẻ vào dân cử để xây dựng tên tuổi của bà. Bà bất chấp luật pháp và đạo đức, chỉ nhắm mục đích trèo cao lên dân biểu liên bang. Như bao lần cô đã ra tranh cử và đã thất cử, bẻ bàn. Là cư dân thành phố, chúng tôi khẳng định không chấp nhận những dân cử mượn con đường chính trị để tạo phe đảng, gây mất đoàn kết, gây bất ổn cho thành phố. Amy chỉ là một kẻ bất tài, vô đạo đức. Bà ta muốn trèo cao bằng cách ăn dạ, la làng, vu khống, chụp mũ, hại đồng diện. Amy đặt lợi ích cá nhân, cái tôi của mình, lên trên lợi ích của cư dân. Chúng tôi cần một hội đồng thành phố đoàn kết, cùng chia sẻ ý tưởng, tri thức, trách nhiệm để các nhà đầu tư chọn thành phố này để vào đầu tư. Và cư dân chúng tôi thấy thành phố Westminster là nơi đáng sống. Việc censor Amy là một việc rất cần thiết và xác đáng, không những cho nghị viên Amy mà còn là bài học cho những ai muốn vào hội đồng thành phố để khuếch trương thân thế, phe đảng, mưu cầu dinh thân phì gia. Tôi cũng phản đối item 5.10. Đó là việc phán xét của tòa. Theo tôi, hai ông bà nghị viên Amy và Nam Quang hết cách trả thù bà phó thị trưởng Kim Ly Hồ, nên đem cái chuyện GoFundMe vào cuộc họp thành phố. Vừa sai nguyên tắc, sai luật, hai người bất chấp, vừa tốn tiền thuế của dân và mất thời giờ của mọi người. Tôi rất tiếc phải nói thẳng trước hội đồng thành phố là hai nghị viên Amy và Nam Quang chỉ là hai con rối được dựng đứng trên cái ghế nghị viên và bị rối dây nên nó quậy quọ đạp lung tung, khiến cho kẻ làm chủ của hai con rối này cũng bị bối rối. Tôi xin dừng nơi đây. Xin cảm ơn tất cả mọi người đã lắng nghe. Đây.
Good evening, mayors, councils, and everyone present. I am Gigi Vo. I am the person who campaigned for Councilwoman Amy and closely follow her activities since she was elected. I have comment on Agenda 5.9. I can say Amy is just someone who entered politics to build her name regardless of the law and ethics. Just for the purpose of climbing to the top of the ladder, someone like big Congress, like she has run for office many times and humiliating defeat. As a resident of the city, I affirm I do not accept elected officials who use political means to create factions, cause disunity, and destabilize the city. Amy is just incompetent and immoral. She wants to climb high by gossiping, lying, making false accusations, slandering her colleague. Amy puts her personal interest and ego above the interest of the resident. We need a united city council that share ideas, knowledge, and responsibility so that investors choose this city to invest. As residents, we find Westminster a worthy place to live. The censoring of Amy is necessary and appropriate, not for only Councilwoman Amy, but also a lesson for those who want to join the city council to expand their prestige, faction, and seek honor for their family. Item 510. I also object to item 510, which is court judgment. In my opinion, Councilmember Amy and Nam Kwan ran out of way to take revenge on Vice Mayor Kimberly Ho. So they brought the issue of GoFundMe into the city council meeting, which is both against the principle, against the law, and regardless of harming people. It's a waste of taxpayer money and a waste of everyone's time. I'm sorry to say this directly to City Council. The two council members, Amy and Nam Kwan, are just two puppets placed upright in the City Council dais, and the string would tangle. So they stir around and kick around, causing the advisor of these two puppets to fall and confuse. I am finished here. My sincere thanks to everyone who has listened. Listening. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Huey Donetto, followed by Dao Tran.
Ok, chào mọi người, chào các bạn. Bữa nay là Vương lại cái dự án đường Sài Gòn để dự án một phút có thể view cái căn nhà đã xây ở đây được vài căn.
Chào thị trưởng và các hội đồng thành phố. Tôi tên là Huệ, là cư dân của thành phố và là một cử tri luôn luôn theo dõi đồng hành với hội đồng thành phố trong những mùa bầu cử và các công tác thiện nguyện và sinh hoạt cộng đồng. Tôi khẳng định một điều về nghị trình 5.9 rằng việc censure nghị viên Amy là cần thiết và tất nhiên. Đó là một bài học về đạo đức của một dân cử, về sự khiêm tốn, ý thức đoàn kết, làm việc teamwork, về sự tuân thủ quy tắc, quy định, quy chế và luật pháp dân chủ. Amy phán quét trong nửa nhiệm kỳ, nghị viên của mình chỉ là một con rối quấy nát thành hội đồng thành phố. Một con người bằng cấp bình thường, không có công việc làm phát huy được tấm bằng của mình để nói lên khả năng năng lực hạn chế. Vậy mà bà ta còn kiêu căng, ngạo mạn, xem thường đồng viện, đặt cái tôi của mình quá lớn, phá vỡ sự đoàn kết trong hội đồng. Trong nhiều thập niên trước, chưa từng có dân cử nào sau khi buổi họp thành phố đem ra những nghị trình bị fail, là hôm sau ra bên ngoài tổ chức họp báo để ăn vạ, nói xấu, lên án, kết tội các nghị viên say no với nghị trình của mình. Thật là nực cười. Cô Amy quá hiểu dân chủ là gì không? Với sự tiếp tay mù quáng của vị nghị viên Nam Quang là sự chỉ đạo của thế lực phe nhóm, bà Amy càng phát huy sự lộng hành, lộng ngôn, vượt quá giới hạn đạo đức nhân cách của một dân cử. Dưới góc nhìn cư dân, việc censure nghị viên Amy là thỏa đáng và cần tiến hành nhanh để kết thúc việc tốn chi phí tài chính và thời gian của hội đồng thành phố và cư dân. Nghị viên Amy lộng việc chụp mũ chính trị vào việc censure bà, thể hiện sự ngoan cố, không có thái độ tự kiểm soát mình mà chỉ muốn mình là ngôi sao. Bất kỳ ai phản biện điều gì Amy xúc phạm là chụp mũ. Về vấn đề 5.10, tôi có thể nói đó là sự điên cuồng giãy giụa của hai nghị viên Amy và Nam Quang một cách vô liêm sỉ, vô đạo đức. Tôi mong hai người phải tự nhìn lại mình vì cử tri quá chán ghét và xem thường hai vị. Xin cảm ơn đã lắng nghe.
Hello, Mayor and council members. My name is Wei, a resident of the city of Oder who always follows and supports the city council during election seasons with volunteering work and community activities. I affirm one thing regarding item 5.9. Censure Councilmember Amy is necessary and justifiable. It is a lesson in the ethics of an elected official, in humility, in solidarity, in teamwork, in compliance with rules, regulations, statutes, and democratic laws. Amy Fan West, during her half term as council member, was just a puppet. Disrupting the city council meetings, despite having a degree, shows her limited ability and capacity. Yet she is also arrogant, conceited, looks down on her colleagues, and puts her ego too high and destroys the unity of the council. In the past decades, there's never been an elected official who, after a council meeting where her proposed item failed, went on YouTube or have one of her so-called press conferences publicly the next day to complain, condemn, and convict the members who said no to her proposed items. What a crybaby. Does she understand democracy? With the blind support of Councilmember Nam Kwan and the direction of factional forces, Ms. Amy further promoted her tyranny and blatant language, exceeding the ethical and moral limits of an elected official. From the residents' perspective, censure of NV Amy is appropriate and should be done quickly to end the financial and time-consuming expense of the City Council and residents. Councilmember Amy, inserting political labels into her censure shows stubbornness, has no self-control, only wants to be a star. Anyone who objects is insulted and labeled by Amy. About item 5.10, I can say it is the mad struggle of two council members, Amy and Nam Kwan, shamelessly and immorally. I hope you two look back at yourselves because voters hate and despise you too much.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dow Tran. Dow Tran, followed by Viet Youth Media.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Dow Tran. And first of all, I want to talk to council member Amy Fan West. I am the one who campaigned for you 2 years ago. But I can say today I'm very upset with your conduct and behaviors that brought to the censor that you deserve it tonight. Remember when you teach your children when they're kindergarten, you teach them the alphabet, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And today when I read the staff report, I can find that you violated the City of Westminster Code of Ethics all the way from A to Z, which is 26 issues. And I think you are guilty and you deserve the censure. Getting a censure is a pain, But you need that pain to gain. I hope you learn from your mistake and correct yourself. So in 2026, I can campaign for you again, okay? Now about item 510. It is so ridiculous. I don't know what council members Amy and Nam Kwan thought when they brought this to the city council. Because council members are not jurors and mayor is not judge. So this issue should bring to the court, not to the city council. So it is so ridiculous to bring it here. And I think what you need to do for two of you is when we vote for you, I campaign for both Nam Kwan and Amy. So my message for you, because you focus on the work of the city. How can you bring the benefit to the city and its residents? Thank you for listening.
Our next speaker is Kai Dow, followed by Connie Cohen.
Sorry about that. Oh, can you start with class again? Good evening. Well, we got July off, and this is how we start coming back with this. You know, I saw that we have quite a few items here, and most of the speeches that residents come up here are concerning with, I guess it's item 5.9 and 5.10. So I don't know if Mayor Charlie Ching-Wen would remember how you guys reduce our speaking time to take care of city's business. Like I said, I don't know if this is what you really call city's business. To me, it's more like, has more to do with personal gain, personal fame, personal credit, personal shame. And since it's election season, I'd like to remind if anyone remember in 2012 when I filed to run. The reason I ran is I said the city is on the verge of bankruptcy. You guys have no solution. And eventually, 12 years later, the solution that you guys came up with is raising tax. Most of you guys are Republican. I don't know if raising tax is the solution that your party would approve. I'm glad that people are repeating the phrase that I described you guys, why I've been against you guys, condemning you guys as public servants, as not worthy to represent us. Because in Vietnamese, it's said "Binh thân phì gia." So you're in it for the money to profit yourself, your group, racketeering. So I hope, I heard that in this election, you guys are divided into two groups and competing to see which group is gonna have the majority to control the city. So I hope you learn from Andrew Doe. The county is investigating how he managed $200 million of the county's fund. And I hope somebody is gonna pay for it with even, facing charge and go to prison even. So good luck with your cronyism. And, I think I can describe you guys as inept, incompetent, immoral, and corrupted. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Connie Cohen, followed by Monique Nguyen.
Good evening. First, I'd like to really give kudos, thanks to the people who decided to print 5.9 and 5.10 to make it easy for the rest of us to see. There were more copies in the back when I got there, so if you don't have one, I can suggest you, the public, go get one so you're able to read along. I vote, if I were a council member, I would vote to censure Amy Fan West. Censure, not censor. I want to thank the people who pointed that out. I agree 5.10 doesn't have any business here. Regarding permits for RVs, I hope you ask a lot of questions as to why staff and police department recommended 12 versus 36 as you make your decision. I have a wonder of how many days each one of those permits are for. Is it just for one night, or is a permit for 4 nights? 36 nights at 4 nights a pop, you would have a lot of people living in their RVs on our streets, and I just am curious about that. I don't have any information to know one way or the other. And if I were in your shoes, I would support the Midway City Sanitary District's ask for donation. And I would be very interested in hearing the woman who had lived in many places and returned here finish her conversation. I have 1:20 left if anybody wants to give her my time. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Monique Nguyen, followed by Nat Lin.
Monique Nguyen, followed by Nhật Linh. Yes.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Monique. I suggest definitely censure Miss Amy West. Please, everybody, please go to the 20+ subject that she had been violated in the past. She has been council member over a year. Any cooperate council member should be adjusted to the rule and ethical manner. But Amy was not. Apparently, she never thinks that she has to change anything. We will not have to tolerate her attitude and wrongdoing any more day. Please censure her to stop any more problem she may cause in the future. And item 510. Council member Amy and Nam Quan had chosen to listen to one side of the party for the purpose to defame the vice mayor's reputation. They are together, had interfered in other people's business, and the council has no jurisdiction to anything about that either. City council has more important thing to do than this matter. Please, council member Amy and Nam Quan, you are wasting city staff time and resources. Item 510, council member, please toss this item 510 aside. Thank you.
Next speaker is Nat Lin, followed by representative from American Citizen Defense Coalition.
Xin chào ông thị trưởng và hội đồng thành phố Westminster. Tôi tên là Nhật Linh, là cư dân của thành phố Westminster. Tôi xin có ý kiến về nghị trình 5.9. Việc censor nghị viên Amy chưa đủ để nói hết sự ngang ngạnh, ngang ngược, ngang tàn, bất chấp của nghị viên tinh quái này. Amy là một người có bản chất háo thắng, tham vọng quyền lực, địa vị, vô độ. Muốn mình là ngôi sao chính trị, nhanh chóng, bằng nhiều thủ đoạn, bất chấp đạo đức và pháp luật. Nhìn cái mặt của cổ kìa, rất là láo. Cổ ngồi cô bỉm môi, miếm môi khi mà cư dân người ta phát biểu. Rất là mất dạy, censor là đúng rồi. Amy là người không chịu học hỏi để nâng cao sự hiểu biết khi làm dân cử, nhưng lại giành giật những event gặp gỡ doanh nhân, đại gia, những chức sắc chính trị. Việc Amy bỏ dở cuộc họp hội đồng thành phố để chạy theo ve vuốt xoa dịu doanh nhân David Dương khi ông đến cuộc họp hội đồng thành phố trả lại bằng khen là một ví dụ điển hình về sự bất chấp luật lệ của thành phố. Và cả sự vô liêm sỉ, Amy là một nghị viên nổi loạn. Cô ta luôn cho mình đúng vì cái tôi của cô ta quá lớn. Cứ sau mỗi một cuộc họp của hội đồng thành phố mà cô không được ủng hộ item của mình đưa ra, thì ngay hôm sau cô phải lên các kênh YouTube để la làng, để chụp mũ, để nói xấu, xúc phạm các đồng viện. Thiết nghĩ nếu như các nghị viên ở trong hội đồng thành phố trong thành phố này đều hành động như Amy Phan West thì thành phố của chúng ta sẽ tồi tệ đến mức nào? Hả cô nghị viên Amy? Nghị trình của Amy đưa ra chỉ xoay quanh những cái việc đánh vào tâm lý cộng đồng người Việt quốc gia là cờ vàng, nhưng lại thiếu kiến thức hiểu biết. Nên nhớ rằng Westminster là một thành phố của nhiều sắc dân, chứ không phải là của riêng người Việt. Và cư dân cần một hội đồng thành phố đoàn kết cùng nhau làm việc. Những nghị quyết cần phải có giá trị lâu bền mới thu hút được doanh nghiệp, các nhà đầu tư đến với thành phố này. Về item 5.10, nghị viên Nam Quang và Amy đưa ra để buộc tội Phó Thị trưởng Kimberly Hồ. Theo tôi, cái item 5.10 này cần phải vứt sọt rác ngay, miễn bàn. Vì hai người này trả thù cá nhân một cách mù quáng, muốn biến hội đồng thành phố thành cơ quan tòa xét xử kiện tụng à. Việc tranh chấp tiền bạc là việc kiện tụng ở tòa. Hai ông bà Nam Quang và Amy hãy kiên nhẫn chờ gia đình người bị nạn kiện đi, và chờ kết quả của tòa quyết định, rồi hãy trả thù cá nhân với Phó Thị trưởng Kimberly cũng chưa có muộn. Đúng là ngựa non hấu đá.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council members. My name is Nhật Linh, a resident of Westminster. I would like to have an opinion on Agenda 5.9. Censoring Council Amy is not enough to express all the stubbornness and defiance of this mischievous council member. Amy is a person with an aggressive nature, insatiable ambition for power and status, wanting to become a political star quickly, using many tricks, regardless of ethics and law. Amy is someone who refuses to learn to improve her understanding when working as an elected official, but she used every opportunity to meet businessmen, tycoons, and political dignitaries. The fact that Amy left the city council meeting while still in session to chase after the casual businessman David Zung when he returned the certificate of merit to the city council meeting is a typical example of her disregard for city rules and also shamelessness. Amy is a rebellious council member. She always thinks she is right because her ego is too big. After every meeting of the city council, and if she did not get the support for her proposed item, she had to go on YouTube channel the next day to criticize, defame, and insult her colleagues. I think if all the council members act like Miss Amy, how bad will our city be? Amy's proposed agenda only revolves around the yellow flag that belongs to the Republic of Vietnam and lacks knowledge and understanding. Remember, Council Member Amy West is Council Member Amy, Westminster is a city of many ethnicities, not just Vietnamese people. And residents need a united city council working together.
Singapore.
Our next speaker is a representative from American Citizen Defense Coalition, followed by Terry Raines.
Good evening, Council. My name is Smithy Liu, and I came here with a friendly recommendation. I'm not here with hostility. So here's my recommendation. You all work
Did
as
you
one
want to
body.
wait for the mayor to come back
Oh, okay.
to address him?
Oh, it's okay? Yeah, I'll go ahead. So you're all sitting right here as one body, and my recommendation is this. If one part of your body irritate the other parts, what do? You have two options: resolve it in private or bring it out in the public like this. And we all professionals, we understand how to operate this and we know how to conduct our business, right? So my friend recommendation to do always is tap to the source that put you in your seats. Every one of you here, the reason you're sitting here because the people vote you in, you know who they are. Tap into them first. Just like if you have one part of your body causing discomfort to the other part, what do? You go to a doctor. You don't bring it out on the street and say, oh, I itch right here, and try to scratch in front of everybody. That's unprofessional. So that is my friendly recommendation to all of you. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Terry Raines.
Three minutes, 26 items. Congrats, Officers Cruz, Bruzzi, Beasley, and Chavez for the DUI arrest recognition. Item 5.6, Mayor Wynn should recuse himself for this item, a silver or gold sponsorship, but not platinum. Items 5.7 and 6.1, Councilmember West should be prohibited from attending city-paid conferences in addition to being removed from all internal and external committees. We don't want her representing us anywhere. She wants to go to DC to further her political career, not to help our city. Vote for Mayor Wynn and Vice Mayor Ho and or Councilmember Manzo if they want to go. ICSC was a huge success with these three. Item 5.10, this isn't city business and shouldn't be discussed in a city council meeting, period. Christine tried with the staff report based on Amy's slanderous input, but there are factual errors and omissions. I went to Amy's first press conference, there were two, and viewed videos of her, Namquan, and many others slandering Vice Mayor Ho and threatening to sue the city over this. I spoke to Shin, not Hassan, Amy, and whose family lives in Anaheim. Amy's slanderous conspiracy theories are total BS. The funeral was paid for. Shin did sign a legally binding contract with at least one family member present who also signed it. The beneficiary of the GoFundMe is the nonprofit standard procedure, so donations are tax deductible, but bottom line, the beef is between the family and the nonprofit, period. Show us a letter, Kimberly, and sue her, bleep. Item 7.4, Amy, the habitual offender, must recuse herself from this discussion and vote and have no input on this ordinance. Lawbreakers can't be lawmakers. You all have copies of the 6-page email I sent about the numerous errors, omissions, and ambiguous language offering my edits. The Traffic Commission went against PD's recommendation of 12 permits per year, arbitrarily increasing it to 36, pushed solely by Amy's brand new commissioner, Kristen Summers, no surprise, with zero justification. The chair couldn't even recount the vote or ordinance details to me. Staff and PD, the experts, have researched and worked on this forever. We aren't a tourist beach camping destination like Huntington Beach, Kristen and Amy. The average California RVers take 3 to 4 trips a year, with 6 is the high outlier. Assuming 2 permits per trip, 12 is plenty. Item 5.9, staff was directed to bring back a list of internal, external committees that West serves on to consider sanctions, but sanctions aren't mentioned and there's no separate sanction item on this agenda. Who at City Hall is purposely trying to avoid or delay the sanction discussion? We've already endured 4 friggin' meetings about Amy's crap. Do you want more? Amy, your campaign to get people to write or speak against this are pathetic. Most that live in Westminster have never set foot inside these chambers and haven't had to endure your narcissistic BS, violation of laws, and egregious behavior like we have. You lie to them saying this is to silence you. That's censor, Amy, not censure, Amy. Your naive non-resident fans don't know the difference either, relying on your false narrative to provide their scripted comments. So go big and go home, Amy, for good. Censor Amy Fan West. Sanction Amy Fan West. Recall Amy Fan West.
We do have one final speaker, Minteen.
Kính chào ông thị trưởng và hội đồng thành phố. Tôi là Minh Tiên. Tôi nghĩ nghị trình số 5 và số 9 là không cần bàn cãi nhiều về tốn thời giờ nữa. Hội đồng thành phố và người đã quá nhiều buổi hội thảo và đã lãng phí quá nhiều thời gian của thành phố, cũng như những người đã liên hệ quyết định đã quá rõ ràng. Nghị viên Emmy cần phải có khiển trách với hy vọng có thể biết đâu bà sẽ ngừng nói dối và kiềm chế cái miệng oan oan của mình. Tự do ngôn luận không có nghĩa là bà ta cứ tiếp tục nói dối và tung tin đồn nhảm về thành phố. Ông thị trưởng và các động viên để có lợi cho bà ta. Nghị viên Emmy đã lạm dụng quyền lực và nghị viên của mình để khiến mình trở nên quan trọng. Bà Emmy quên mất mình chỉ là một công chức để phục vụ cho dân cư và thành phố, chứ không phải để lấy tiếng làm tiền.
Item 59. Good morning, Mayor and Council. My name is Minh Tien. I think agenda item 5.9 is no-brainer. The council and the resident had multiple discussion meeting and had wasted enough time of the city for everyone involved. The decision is clear. Councilwoman Amy needs to be censured in the hope of maybe she would stop her lie and control her big mouth. Freedom of speech does not mean that she can lie and spread rumor about the city, the mayor and other council members to Councilwoman Amy's advantage. Councilwoman Amy abused her powers and grandstanding to make herself important. She forgot she's just a public servant. She should act like one for a change.
Nghị trình số 5 và số 10 là một ví dụ khác về sự thiếu hiểu biết của hai nghị viên Emmy và Nam Quang về luật pháp và quyền hạn. Họ nghĩ Hội đồng thành phố Westminster có quyền hạn gì đối với những chuyện gì đang xảy ra trong các vấn đề xung đột, tranh chấp dân tư nhân. Một lần nữa, nghị viên Emmy lại chọn cách lắng nghe một bên và trong quá trình đó đã tìm đủ mọi cách để cố gắng bôi nhọ và vu khống phó thị trưởng và hại danh tiếng của bà Kimberly. Một cách bất cẩn, nghị viên Emmy không phải là thẩm phán và cô ấy cũng không có thẩm quyền can thiệp vào chuyện tranh chấp của người khác. Lại một lần nữa, tôi thắc mắc tại sao nghị viên Nam Quang lại hợp tác với bà Emmy để đưa ra nghị trình ngớ ngẩn này. Hội đồng thành phố cũng không có thẩm quyền để can thiệp bất cứ điều gì về vụ đó. Vui lòng bỏ đi cái nghị trình vớ vẩn đó sang một bên, chỉ thảo luận đến các vấn đề phát triển kinh doanh cho thành phố. Tôi nhắc lại nhận thức chung của người dân. Hai nghị viên Emmy và Nam Quang gần đây không có bất kỳ ý tưởng sáng suốt nào cho thành phố thì đừng nêu ra và lãng phí thời gian của các nhân viên cũng như tốn tiền của thành phố. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is, this is regarding item 510, I'm sorry. 510 is another example of council members Amy and Nam Quan ignorance about laws and order. What power do they think the Westminster City Council has over what is happening to private parties? Again, Councilwoman Amy chose to listen to one party in the process trying very hard to defame and slander the vice mayor reputation carelessly. Councilwoman Amy is no judge, and she have no right.
Time's up. Thank you.
Sorry.
Mayor, we have no further speakers.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, I have a brief comment. Thank you. Gigi, Huế, Đào, Monique, Jacqueline, and Minton. I know that you guys mentioned that you campaigned for me. The only time I remember seeing you guys are at the Mayor Charlie event, maybe twice. I walk by myself. I never see you guys walk with me, so I don't know what you guys are talking about, but thank you.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Let her. Are you done? You done, right? Thank you. All right. Next. Well, on behalf of the City Council, I would like to thank you all for coming out, attending the council meeting today. And I know that you take it out of your busy schedule to be here. We appreciate you. We listen to you. We listen to your recommendation. We will take that into consideration when we are making our decisions. So again, thank you for being here this evening. Next is a consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered routine and may be approved by a single motion, followed by a roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless members of the City Council or staff request that specific items be removed from the consent calendar for separate action or discussion. With that, I motion to pull item 3.4. Any other?
Mayor, may I pull item 3.9?
3.9. Any others?
Motion to approve the remainder.
Okay, second. Motion to approve all items except for 3.4 and 3.9, pull for separate discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a motion made by Councilmember Monzo, seconded by Mayor Nguyen. This is to approve the consent calendar and pull items 3.4 and 3.9 for separate discussion. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Fan West, yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen. Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
And Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion carried 4-0.
All right. Item 3.4 was pulled by me, and I would like to ask for staff report. Chief, would you please present?
Good evening, Mayor, council members. This is Q2 crime statistics and compared with Q2 of 2023 last year. So we compare this time of year with last year's time of year. Violent crime did see a little over a 7% increase on our streets, specifically with homicides and robbery were the two biggest jumps. On a positive note, property crime was down almost 6%. The biggest drop there being burglary. We accredited the burglary drop for two different reasons. One was the arrest of a serial burglar that we believe was the person that burglarized several different storage units throughout town and in other parts of Orange County. He was arrested. We also, to date this year, have made 22 arrests for burglary. Compared to the entire last year of 2023, we had 20 arrests for burglary. So our arrests are way up. I'd like to go back to our homicides because I know that's of great concern to everyone, including myself. The 2 homicides we had, one was a homeless man that's still under investigation that I can't speak too many details about because of that investigation. And the second was a stabbing. That was the one off of 21st Street where a Good Samaritan tried to prevent another man from being stabbed. Unfortunately, in that person getting involved, it cost him his life and he was stabbed to death. The suspect on that one is in custody. I'm prepared to answer any of your questions at this time.
I just wanted to thank you for having this report to the council and to the public so we understand where we are compared to last year. I understand that there is something that we went out with our control, but do you take any measures to see whether we can do anything to help to reduce the crime, if there's any?
Thank you, Mayor.
Right.
The only thing, we actually do have some things in the works, and they're dependent on staffing levels for us to implement. There is one other thing we are doing. We are in the final stages of completing an MOU or agreement with the feds on having a retail theft task force housed in our police department. And not only for our city, but throughout Orange County. But a lot of these rings that are doing the retail theft just don't do it in one area. They are opportunists for regions. So we're looking at attacking it that way. A little long term on that. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but we're hoping it will happen by the end of the year.
I know that you work diligently on that, so I want to thank, on behalf of the City Council, I want to thank you for your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, I motion to approve the item.
Second it.
Motion and second on the floor.
I have a motion made by Mayor Nguyen, seconded by Councilmember Monzo. This is to receive and file the report. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Fan West, yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion carried 5-0.
Next is item 3.9, was pulled by Councilmember Menzo. So
Thank you, Mayor. Staff, I just had a question on the staff report. It mentions the fence along
Yes,
Hoover, underneath the 22 overpass at Hoover. And as I mentioned before, I think that one is just relentlessly, constantly being cut. So I want to know what the plan is going forward, because that's just going to be a constant problem, and what is going to be how we're going to address that.
Thank you, sir. In reference to item 3.9, which is related to the delegated maintenance agreement between the City of Westminster and the State of California, we are partnering closely with Caltrans on this agreement. We're also working collaboratively with City Manager's Office in Garden Grove, because we have a vested interest in making sure that that entire interchange area is effectively cleaned and policed and maintained. And I'm referring to Beach Boulevard and the 22 freeway. The area that we are looking to partner with Caltrans on is the west side of Beach Boulevard. So if you think of the Costco Business Center, that strip of landscape that goes all the way to Hoover. And if you jump over the 22 freeway behind the hotels and some of the other uses on that north side of the 22, that entire area, Caltrans is responsible for it. They're supposed to come through and do it periodically. It's a big county and it takes them a while to circle back. So instead, they're paying us to hire a contractor to maintain that area. And we would put up the money and then receive reimbursement. The dollar amount is based on the budget that Caltrans has to offer. So we're gonna work it as much as we can to effectively maintain it on a reimbursement basis. Now, as I mentioned, in Garden Grove's a little bit further ahead than we are on this, and they were great partners, and they added to their contract with Caltrans, which calls for special fencing in some Garden Grove areas. They're actually including the fencing that would prevent pedestrians from walking between the 22 freeway and the Costco Business Center, and all the homes that are along there, which is particularly impactful because it slopes up to the 22. So as folks are walking along that green belt, they're essentially looking down into people's backyards. So we're looking at fencing that area on Beach Boulevard to prevent that. And then in addition to that on Hoover, where there's already fencing, like you said, ineffective fencing that is often lifted and people access it, that is going to be replaced with high strength fencing that has certain design features that prevent people from essentially climbing it, sticking their tennis shoes in it and climbing up. So, and it's much more resistant. For many years, it was not a Caltrans standard, so that fencing was not seen in Caltrans right away, but because of some of the issues we've experienced over the years, they've now added that. The flood control channels is where you probably see that type of fencing. So once that's implemented, then we'd be responsible for maintaining, but it is high strength.
And then as far as the maintenance, and right now, currently you have a plan in place as far as the areas and how we're going to maintain it. What about assessing it after how long? 3 months, 4 months, and then making adjustments accordingly?
Yeah, we tried to get Caltrans to agree on an escalating cost, and they essentially said, let's get started with it, let's monitor it. I would say realistically, within between 6 months and a year, we would be in a good position to say we need additional funds to be able to maintain it to the standards that we feel are appropriate.
And then we're going to be reimbursed the funds.
Absolutely. And it will not take away from our staff that's very busy maintaining our city infrastructure, potholes, parks, all that stuff. That staff is going to continue to work under the direction of Jake to perform all of those duties. Jake and his team, our Director of Public Works and his team will hire a contractor that'll focus on these problem areas and state right away.
Okay, and yeah, I just really concerned about this, and I'm really excited to see it. It's just been a problem that we've been working on for quite a while.
Yes.
And quite a few angry residents along the 22 corridor there. They've been violated, their privacy's been violated. So I'm really hopeful that this is going to be monitored closely going forward, and also keep an eye on the Costco property as well. Correct. To make sure that fence is being maintained. And if any homeless individuals are going back there, make sure that we patrol. Is there a way that we can keep an eye on that as well, patrolling it?
I mean, that whole area is known as a hotspot. So the chief's right here next to me. I know the HLO team is very active. They know the hotspots in the area, and we do have a good working relationship with the property owners that are impacted by such activities, and we have good relationship with Costco Business Center.
Okay. We're excited to see that fence. I want to see that fence, see what it looks like, the conditions, and how it's going to work better than what's there now.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
You want to move
On the motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilmember Monzo, a second made by Mayor Nguyen. This is to approve the delegated maintenance agreement between the City of Westminster and the State of California, acting by and through the Department of Transportation for litter, debris, and fence maintenance along a portion of Beach Boulevard, and approve an increase to the revenue budget account number 51500-39069, street maintenance reimbursement other, in the total amount of $25,000. And approve an increase to the expenditure budget account number 51500-43090, street maintenance contractual, in the amount of $25,000. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Fan West, yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen. Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion carried 4-0.
All right, we're going to jump to 6.1, designation of voting delegate and alternates for 2024 annual League of California Cal City Conference to be held in Sacramento, California. So with this, I want to go ahead and go first on this.
Mayor, if you don't mind, just for the clarification for the public and council, there was a late communications memo in front of you.
Okay.
The location will be held in Long Beach, California.
Okay, all right, thank you. So to be held in Long Beach, okay. I want to go first on this. I was there every year, And if I don't go, yes, we can. I don't mind to have somebody represent me as delegate, but as a mayor to be at their conference, I think it's my responsibility to be as a delegate. So I hope that the council understand that, and I will be there on that day to represent the city. So I'd like to be a delegate for the event, and so we can move to elect 2 alternates if you decide to do so.
I'm fine
Any
with
question from?
I'm okay with having you be the delegate.
Is there a motion to?
That's my motion. Motions for mayor.
A second.
There's a motion, a second to have.
Wait, don't we want to discuss? Are you approving as is?
Well, right now for the delegate first, and then we'll talk about 2 alternates. Or if you want to talk about 2 alternates right now, then.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
First of all, do you agree with, or do you have any problem with the delegate? If not, then we can move on.
I know every year we go to this. Last year we went to Sacramento, and it was Charlie, mayor, and then Nam Quang, vice mayor at the time, and then myself. And that was fine. I think that's what, whoever can make it, they should make it, because that represents the city of Westminster. So it seems like for this conference that yearly that we go to, it seems like just you and I are able to go, are able to make it. So don't you want representation?
Right.
Because so far, unless
Same.
there's other councils able to go.
Where did you get that
Where'd you
from?
get that?
I don't think this is an item that we're talking about.
So-
Right now, we have nobody volunteer to go, except we are just discussing it right now. And I am volunteering myself to go there as a delegate.
So for the alternate, do you want to talk about it right now as
Yes,
well?
if you want to. If
Okay,
you
I
don't
think
have any
that'd be
problem
great.
with the delegate, then we can talk.
Thank you.
I'm available to be an alternate. I was planning on attending anyway. So.
Okay, so,
I will be available too if you need me.
okay.
Okay.
So we have 2 alternate. Is there any others who want to be an alternate?
If you want to go, I can. I don't have to go. You're the vice mayor. You should go.
I'm the vice mayor. I should volunteer
I would
unless you
withdraw my
insist on
mayor.
going.
I'll withdraw my mayor.
You can withdraw, or you can, if you can sit.
No, I'll withdraw.
Okay. So anyone else want to volunteer or to be an alternate? If not, so we do have the mayor as a delegate, and then 2 alternates, which is Councilmember Menzo and Councilmember West. Am I correct?
Vice mayor.
Vice
Oh,
mayor.
Vice Mayor, I'm sorry about that. So, yes, you withdraw. So we have a motion and second on the floor for the 3 of us to attend the conference in Long Beach, California.
Do we need to have a first and a second alternate rather than just both?
So just to kind of clarify on this item, I'm sorry. So the council, this takes place in the state, so there's actually no need for council approval for you to attend. But what we're actually looking for is the voting delegate portion of it.
Right.
So all 5 of you are welcome to attend the conference, but this is just the voting portion.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make that clear in the motion that you're designating voting delegate and the alternates for voting, not attendance.
Okay, understand.
Okay, thank you.
Does it need to be?
Now that the city attorney raised the question that do we have to have the first alternate? or second?
Yeah, because if for some reason you're ill that day, who would be the person to step in and vote for you?
Okay, if that's the case, then between the 2, who
Vice mayor.
Vice Mayor is next in line will be the Vice Mayor. So Vice Mayor, I would say that Vice Mayor is going to be the first alternate. Is there any objection to that?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right, so motion is second on the floor.
And the second alternate would be,
Second alternate would be Councilmember West.
and the second agrees to that.
Okay, I have a motion made by Councilmember Monzo, seconded by Vice Mayor Ho. This is to appoint Mayor Nguyen as the voting delegate and to appoint Vice Mayor Ho as the first alternate and Councilwoman Fan West as the second alternate. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Fan West, yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
And Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion carried 5-0.
7.1, appointment of 13 members to the Youth Committee. So this is staff who present this. Otherwise, I move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion made by Mayor Nguyen, seconded by Councilmember Monzo. This is to select and appoint the members of the Youth Committee for the term expiring June 30th, 2025, as outlined in your staff report. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Fan West, yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion carried 5-0.
Next is 7.2, appointment to Planning Commissioner, and I know that this is one member from the Vice Mayor Kimberly Ho appointee, so you will recognize.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to thank my applicants. I do appreciate you. I know we only have one spot, unfortunately, and this is mid-year, and so you will be serving the remainder of the year due to the resignation of Commissioner Jameson Power. From what I understand, Commissioner Power is moving to Fountain Valley, and so therefore he can't, he really wanted to stay, but unfortunately he will be out of our city. So with that, I'd like to appoint Ms. Laura Rose. Thank you for applying, and I thank you for serving. And I would like to wish you luck. It is a very important position. You make final decisions, probably most of the time. So I look forward to your service. Thank you.
All right, is there a motion? Is that a motion? That's a motion from you, Vice Mayor?
Yes, I'd like to
Is there
motion.
a second to that?
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Ho, seconded by Mayor Nguyen. This is to appoint Laura Rose to the Planning Commission for a term ending in December 2024, waiving other applicable requirements. I'll go ahead and call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
And Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
5-0, motion carried.
7.3, request to install parking restriction on Monroe Street at Liberty Park, access driveway TC 77-123. I'd like to ask for staff report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. You want to go ahead? Go for it.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. This is a request for the parking restrictions at the driveway that's connecting to this Liberty Park. This driveway been used by city maintenance staff and as well as police department. Our maintenance staff just go in into the park every day for, pick up the trash, clean up the restroom, and also our police department using this driveway basically to do a safety check of the park. We do have an issue with vehicles that park very close to the driveway, so it's make it very difficult for staff to get in and get out every time we be in there. So this item has been presented to the Traffic Commission on July 27, and at the meeting, there's nobody spoke against this request, and the Traffic Commission end up approving this request to install 5 feet on both sides of the driveway for, better maneuver for city staff.
I will open up for a question, but I will move to approve.
Second it.
Okay, motion and second on the floor.
I have a motion made by Mayor Nguyen, seconded by Councilmember Monzo. This is to adopt a resolution entitled, "A Resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Westminster, California, providing for no parking or stopping at a certain location on the east side of Monroe Street at 19th Street." I'll go to call roll. Councilman Fan West, Councilmember Monzo,
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho,
Yes.
Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion carried 4-0.
5.9, resolution to censure, council.
7.4.
I'm sorry, Mayor, we're still doing 7.4?
7.4.
Did we do 7.4?
No, that was
No,
7.3.
I checked mark it, so I thought. All right, 7.4, introduce the first reading and ordinance amending section 10.44.050 and adding section 10.04.245 of the Westminster Municipal Code relating to the permit requirements for the parking of recreation vehicles. So I may ask for a staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor.
Hello?
Councilman Amy Fan West.
You may?
Recuse herself already, right?
No, she's just not here. She needs to,
Am I?
but she's not here.
Yeah? Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure. City Attorney, I want to ask you for your advice if the city, Councilmember West need to recuse herself from this item.
Well, recusal is required if you would have a financial interest that conflicts with what's being discussed. In this case, we're talking about an ordinance that would affect RVs. So I think it's been intimated that she may have a business that does business in town related to RVs, in which case the recommendation would be to recuse. But ultimately, the decision to recuse or not is up to the council member themselves. And so I present that for their consideration as to whether or not she has a conflict or not.
I have a question.
Okay.
City Attorney, does that also apply to family members having a financial benefit?
Yeah, under state law, it applies to interest of the public official, their spouse, or any dependents.
So I want to make sure that there's evidence online that it shows that there is financial monetary benefit to a member of Ms. West's family. So I would suggest recuse.
Okay, so Councilmember West, what's your decision?
You know, no, Christian sent me today a message regarding the ordinance and asking me if there's conflict of interest, and I text back and say there's no conflict of interest. So, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm sorry, please. Council decision at this time. So I may ask for a staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council. My name is Veronica Johnson, Management Analyst.
Please keep quiet. If you need to discuss something that I suggest you can discuss that outside and then come back. We get that. Thank you.
Again, I'm Veronica Johnson, Management Analyst with the
Hold on for a minute.
Can I just clarify for the audience, because I see they're all shaking their heads. The decision to recuse is incumbent on the public official. They make the decision. You don't force them out. So they look at the facts and they make the decision. So I just want to clarify.
All right, thank you very much. So please, go ahead.
Today, we're here to talk about the proposed ordinance for recreational vehicles and permit parking. The issues with RVs in our city streets has been ongoing for many years. Many complaints and concerns have come through the traffic engineering and traffic enforcement divisions throughout the years. RV issues in the city were first addressed in 2012 by amending the Westminster Municipal Code for large, oversized vehicles to include RVs and restrict them to a maximum of 24 hours for the purpose of loading and unloading. People were quick to realize that as long as they moved the RV some distance within that 24 hours, they were in compliance with the code. The code was then amended to restrict RVs from returning to within 0.2 of a mile of the previous location for at least 24 hours. The conversation regarding RVs began again in 2020 with it appearing on our traffic committee agenda, but you know what happened in 2020 and it delayed everything. It did come back, but the conversation has never really stopped. So it really did come up in 2020. So Commander Drennan and I presented this item to our traffic commission on June 27th, 2024. The traffic commission is a recommending body. So that's why we bring the traffic commission recommendation to the mayor and city council today to adopt the proposed ordinance. The proposed ordinance is proposing to amend section 10.44050 and adding 10.44.245. This would require permits in order to park an RV on a city street. And it also would lay out the permit procedures and regulations for the permits. Many adjacent cities around Westminster have enacted laws restricting recreational vehicles on public streets and requiring permits. As we said, currently the Westminster Municipal Code only limits RV parking to 24 hours, meaning that they can park in one area for 24 hours, move it 0.2 of a mile, park in another area for 24 hours, and continue that throughout the city. Because every city surrounding us requires permits, we have learned that people have been using our city streets, non-residents have been using our city streets in order to store their RVs to avoid storage fees. So these RVs impede visibility for smaller vehicles, pedestrians, and bicyclists. It deteriorates our roadways and increases blight in neighborhoods. It's also a safety concern for children playing around these vehicles. The proposed ordinance is not intended to punish or make it more difficult for our residents, but rather to protect our residents and our city streets for Westminster residents. The Westminster Police Traffic Bureau, Traffic Engineering Division, and the City Attorney's Office worked closely together to discuss the parameters of a comprehensive RV parking permit. Items discussed include the time limits, the maximum permits allowed per calendar year, application and fees, restricted locations. We had discussions with owners, we had discussions with even staff members who own RVs about what the parameters or what a permit system would look like. I'll turn it over to Commander Drennan to discuss items regarding the municipal code.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. I'm Commander Drennan from the Westminster Police Department. As we look currently at what Veronica mentioned, section 10.44.050, currently, as stated, it states that no recreational vehicle can park on any street or alley for more than 24 consecutive hours. What we're looking to do to add to that, what's being proposed is to enact this section where the residents of Westminster can obtain RV parking permits from the police department, which in the police department from specifically the traffic division, which I manage. And then looking at the new section that we want to add, 10.44.245, one of the things that we're going to highlight in that particular section is clearly defining what a recreational vehicle is per the California Vehicle Code, which states that a recreational vehicle is a motor home, house car, travel trailer, truck camper, or camp trailer with or without motive power designed for human habitation or other occupancy. So that'll be clearly defined in that particular section that we want to add as well. It will also implement and elaborate on the how the members of the community would go about obtaining the parking permit from the police department, which essentially would consist of an application process, us ensuring that they are in fact residents of the city, and they would have to show proof of all of that as well, and in conjunction with providing some sort of government issued ID. Another thing that we would add in that would be, as I mentioned, the application and payment process for temporary permits from the police department. The As it stands right now, the permits are not going to, there's not going to be any cost for that. That verbiage was left in there in the event that council wants to entertain the idea of charging for those permits in the future. And I covered the application process. Once the application is completed, they would have to show some sort of government-issued ID, proof of residency, such as a utility bill, vehicle registration to show that they are in fact the registered owner of the motorhome, or a rental agreement in the event that they rented the motorhome that they don't own. The next slide that everyone sees up there is a chart. As Veronica mentioned, we've done our homework on all of this, and we reached out to our cities and looked at what their permit time limits and the number of permits that some cities have in the surrounding area, and you can see those numbers there. And then the proposed restrictions for the city of Westminster as well.
To add to this, you can see that the proposed restrictions that we're bringing before you today from the Traffic Commission are 36 recommended permits. Staff did recommend 12 permits, but as the commission is a public hearing body, we do encourage them when they do receive their packets to go out into the neighborhoods to discuss the items with their neighbors, to get feedback from their neighbors, to look at the items that are being proposed. And it was brought back, there was a concern that 12 was not going to be enough. So it was recommended that we do increase the amount of permits to 36. But of course, this again is the recommendation, and it's up to the mayor and city council to make the final decision on that. As you can see this on this page, we did survey the surrounding cities. As you can see, the first column you will see, other than the city, is the permit duration, which is the maximum duration of 48 hours and 72 further down. The third column in is the number of permits allowed for a 12-month period. So as you can see, Buena Park allows 6 permits per month at a maximum of 48 hours. So we're looking at 12 days per 12 permits a year. So based on that, our recommendation, and Traffic Commission's recommendation, our permit duration is only for 1 day with a non-consecutive day in between. How does that work? We don't expect people to call us on their vacation and let us know when they're returning. We are proposing that only 1 permit be issued at a time per address, but that's only per calendar day. We're not expecting them to foresee into the future. When they request their permit, it's going to be, I'm requesting my permit for Friday. We do ask for a time because the 24-hour period is going to be contingent on that time. So if they're going to say we need a permit for Friday at 12, that's when I'm going to pick up my RV and leave it on the street. It's going to be good for the following 12 noon, and that's the 24-hour period. At that time, they can also request their return trip. If they say, I'm going to come back a week from now, we will issue that permit. So the 1 permit per address at a time is contingent on 1 day at a time. So what we didn't want is that one resident asks for various permits for various RVs on 1 day. That's what we were trying to stay away from. Currently, as Commander Drennan said, no fee is being proposed. That's also in line with our surrounding cities. No one charges for a permit at this time. We did leave it as part of the ordinance, as we left it as part of our permit parking districts. Should the council ever decide to charge for these permits, the ordinance does not need to be revised. It just needs to be adopted by resolution. Should this be adopted, we will be erecting signs within the city. These are some samples of some signs within our neighboring cities. We are proposing that this signage be at every entrance to the city. This is also contingent on what other cities do. It's also contingent, it's also consistent with our street sweeping signage that we do. We do entrances to every neighborhood. So we're not going to have signs on every single city street. We are going to have it at every entrance to the city.
And basically what this is going to look like if this is approved by mayor and city council members is after the second reading in August, we would immediately begin outreach from now until as early as January, which is when we feel comfortable kind of unpacking this thing between now and then for the community. And that would be, in terms of outreach, that would be the calls for service that we get related to RVs or motorhomes is public education. Hey, this is what's coming as early as January, or once we figure out what that date's going to be. And this is what you guys, everyone can expect in regards to how to get the permits and what's not going to be allowed. Just reiterating the installation of the new signs at all the city entrances and an update on the citation amount, which would be brought to council at a later date in regards to the citation amount. From now on, or until that outreach begins, until the end of the year, as early as January 1st, that would kind of be the grace period, which we feel if this was to go or be approved and after the second reading in August, they would have a couple of months to kind of wrap their head around and give us plenty of time to finish the outreach and then start enforcement as early as January.
So the final recommended action is that the Traffic Commission recommends that the mayor and city council members adopt.
Như các bạn, tối hôm nay thì
thì
buổi họp tại thành phố Inter cũng diễn ra khá căng thẳng.
Before I open up for
Gọi là hai phe,
questions from
những
the
thành viên
council,
hai phe
I'd like
lên
to ask,
chích
there's
nhau.
one, can
Rất là
we
kịch
come
liệt.
back to
Cảm ơn các bạn đã theo
the
dõi.
proposed
Xin chào tạm biệt.
from staff for how many, that slide?